So we continue. We last left off at federal bank regulators required banks to make bad loans on non-existent credit standards. In his April 26 New York Post article on the CRA entitled "The Real Scandal," Professor Leibowitz, the other guy that uh, Gordon was taking to task along with our author. In Leibowitz article, he explains how the government's Fannie Mae Foundation singled out one bank in particular as the role model for all other banks in America in terms of commitment to CR lending. Countrywide, the nation's largest mortgage lender, had committed to $600 billion in low-income or subprime loans as of 2003. Today, Countrywide is essentially bankrupted and has been merged with Bank of America. The myth that the CRA would not be harmful to banking industry profits was hidden for years. This is where we get into the crux of it. This is addressing almost point by point this other liberal article based all on equity and equity of results. I mean, the myth that the CRA would not be harmful to banking industry profits was hidden for years by the Fed-created housing bubble, which allowed for easy refinancing of all bad debt. CRA increased lending and homeownership in poor communities without undermining banks' profitability, Gordon proudly proclaims. But now that the bubble has burst, all those unqualified borrowers whom the government calls subprime, as though their credit ratings are only a tiny smidgen below prime borrowers with the very best credit ratings, are defaulting on their mortgages in droves. Bank profitability has been extremely undermined, to put it mildly. The bursting of the Fed-generated housing bubble is the reason why the CRA scam was not exposed until now, despite having been in operation for some 30 years. So I just encourage you to read these two blog articles. I'll link to them in the description. But I mean, the government policy of the CRA required more and more intervention and meddling in the market, where then the Fed the Fed encouraged these repackaging of these securities, all the way to the Fed allowing low interest rates to refinance this bad debt, and on and on and on and on, and finally the market couldn't bear it anymore, and it's all coming down in shambles. And we want to blame the free market when 60% of the loans were bought up by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, federal bureaucracies. When the FHA is securing and insuring all these loans, when the government owns HUD houses left and right, when you have government subsidized housing competing with private market housing. Don't you want to call this a market failure? If it is a market failure, it's got more government in anything I've ever heard called a market than anything I've ever seen.